Chapter 2. Why Cashflowing Real Estate? You have the ability to make money 4 ways with real estate. First, you have equity buildup with the mortgage paid down with the heart, sweat, and tears of your tenants paying your rent instead of you. 2. Tax benefits. 3. Appreciation of the property. And 4. Cash flow is achieved by picking properties with the right rent-to-value ratio where your income exceeds your expenses on a monthly basis. And when you add up these, you'll find that you're beating what you would be getting in the stock market by 3 or 4 times. And this is very early on, as a young 20-year-old something kid, I had that first rental property, then bought the second, and I was like, I'm making way more money doing this. Why would I want to put all my money in that 401k that everybody else is doing? And that's kind of when I quickly realized that the whole red pill of finance, that this was a better way of doing things. You're getting that equity built up minus your debt service because the majority of that goes to your debt service in the beginning. But a portion of that goes to equity buildup. So with my first property, my PITI mortgage, or principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, the sum components of a mortgage payment, was $1,600 a month. In the beginning, the majority of the loan is going to interest, but a few $100 is going to pay down your principal balance, and then at the end, you cash that out. You have to include this in the whole equation too. The tax benefits can get a little complicated, but essentially you're able to write off the asset, and even though you're making cash flow, you can drive that negative and possibly lower your adjusted gross income, or AGI, depending where your AGI is and where you fall on the tax brackets. The nice thing about rental real estate is that it typically goes up. Normally, a property will appreciate 2 to 3% just with the pace of inflation. And for every 2% it goes up, you're making 8 to 10% on your money because you're leveraged. However, we don't count on it going up because to us, appreciation is icing on top of the cake after the cash flow, mortgage paydown, and tax benefits. When I had my first rental property, I took the red pill of money, to use a matrix reference, and realized how fee structures work in retail financial products and how it hurts the average investor. Wall Street compensation is very heavy for those guys at the top. How else do they pay for all these fancy banks at almost every street corner? And you hear these high executive salaries and just pushing paper. They're not creating value. I saw the dissonance between investing in something simple, like a single family home where I made 20 to 30% plus a year versus my 401k, where it was a roller coaster to make 8 to 10% a year. I started to look more closely, reading the right materials and following the right people. We are all conditioned to pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, to use another movie reference from The Wizard of Oz. It's important to remember that the foot soldiers of Wall Street, where you put money into the system, are financial planners who are commission-based and heavy fee mutual fund portfolio managers. When you lose money, they still make their commissions and fees. I think a lot of younger people are just starting to realize that financial planners are just fancy suits and nice guys who don't know how to generate real wealth. If you guys want to check out some fun videos on this topic and read the article, go to simplepassivecashflow.com/FP to kind of learn the truth behind financial planners and the conventional stock market, Wall Street, mutual fund investing. The biggest thing I learned when I started to hang around high net worth accredited investors is the golden rule. Never take financial advice from people who are not financially free. Financial planners are not financially free. They're out there hunting for commissions and they're making money off your back and your hard work. These are not people from whom you should be taking financial advice. I never had any money. I was taught the traditional way. Put your money into the system and the system works. Unfortunately, right? Our parents will retire with a mere $1 million because they white-knuckled it, which is the term for most frugal people who like to pay down their debt and have all their money in their home. If they're good citizens, they'll be able to retire with maybe 7 figures in the bank account and will most likely die without enjoying most of it. There are so many hardworking people out there who did everything they were supposed to. Go to school, study hard, get a good job, work at the job, and so on. Now you have to take care of your aging parents and your younger kids, and you're just stuck in this constant rat race. And part of the reason it's this way is because institutions are just taking a huge chunk of your money. I mean, some people even estimate that a third of your earnings go straight to these hidden fees. I bought properties that were 1% rent to value ratio and that were prudently cash flowing in most months, and I bought multiples of these. I diversified over different markets, and it wasn't like I got lucky or anything like that. I put emphasis on cash flow over gambling on appreciation, which mainly meant I stayed away from these non-cash flowing markets that, most people think of investing in, like Seattle, Hawaii, California, New York, Boston, Miami. I wasn't doing a huge amount of work, such as flipping houses and therefore taking a lot of risk. I just did the slow and steady way. By creating my own portfolio of rental properties, I was able to get off the retail path of investing in paper assets and was able to quit my day job within a decade of doing this. Of course, I made a lot of mistakes along the way, which I will now share so that you can expedite your journey to simple passive cash flow. Here we go. Before you guys go to the next chapter, make sure you guys kind of study up on how the numbers work, right? Because I think, most of the people in my community are engineers and really go off of the numbers. And the numbers don't lie, right? Like when I saw that I was making all this money with a simple rental real estate property that wasn't anything special, I was sold, right? And then I kind of started to unravel how this whole financial system is engineered to kind of keep us hardworking folks employed and at our day jobs. So go to simplepassivecashflow.com/returns. Kind of study up on how the numbers work. Again, the tax benefits, mortgage pay down, appreciation, and the cash flow, how that all works and how that makes the money there. We're going to be going into the next chapter, chapter 3, talking more about being an accredited investor, investing in syndications. And I think, for those of you guys under $500,000 net worth, stick to the single family home rentals or buy yourself a turnkey rental. If you recall, I bought it back in 2009. And it wasn't until 2015 and when I became more of an accredited investor and started investing in syndications and private placements. If your guys' net worth is under there and you're getting started, go to simplepassivecashflow.com/turnkey to kind of read up on the info guide there. And if you guys are interested more in that remote rental, going down that road, check out the e-course. The info is also on that page. But, get started, get educated. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It took me a lot of years to get up to accredited investor status to invest in the larger deals.